Hi everybody. Here I have a Homelite two-stroke weed whacker that I'll break down step-by-step instructions replacing the starter pull rope. It's a very easy and inexpensive repair. Here are the tools I'll use: spark plug removal socket, Phillips screwdriver, needle nose pliers, T20 Torx and T25 torque bit sizes. They're the tip that looks like a star, scissors, and of course the nylon pull rope. I'm going to be just using the nylon rope from this little kit and not the grip. I'm just going to wind up using the old grip. Now this might be a bit odd, but I first wanted to show you a picture of the 6 screws before removing to separate the pull starter housing assembly, so you'll be aware that they're not all the same thread type or length, so you can return the correct screw type when reassembling. These are the 6 screws that I need to remove to separate the pull starter housing assembly. That was 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm taking notice where the throttle cable hanger is positioned before removing the screw. This screw holds the throttle cable and is the longest of the 6 screws. I'll disconnect the throttle cable end connection. Removing the throttle cable by pulling between the block body on the left and the air filter box on the right. Here's another picture of that. Now I'm ready to separate or detach the starter housing assembly from the short block assembly. I'll move the engine out of the way for now. And there's the pulley we need to remove and replace the broken rope. So I'll remove the 3 screws holding that in place. I'll remove this retainer plate and use the notch as my guide when I go to reassemble. Just slide that out of there. I'll remove the starter pulley. It slides right off. And I'm noticing the gear is a bit worn, but not enough to replace it yet. And there's the broken cord. I have my nylon cord, and I'll push it through the hole between the pulley there. I'll use the needle nose pliers for a little bit of help to get that through. Make a knot on the end and tug with the pliers to tighten that knot. And I'll cut off any excess. Put that through the hole and pull to check that it doesn't unthread. That looks good. Now I'll look for the arrow to wind the cord in that direction. About 4 or 5 full turns ought to do it. I'll place that on the shaft and put the end of the rope in the pull hole. Now I can put the pulley retainer back on, line it up with the notch, and I'll screw that in. Now I can align the engine block shaft to the housing assembly. Looks good. Seated nicely and no gap. Now I can reattach the throttle cable by pushing through the cable in between the block assembly and the air filter box. I'll reconnect the throttle cable to the carburetor. Come on, you can do it. Come on, there you go. There you go. The throttle cable should be clear to move up and down. I'll position the throttle cable hanger somewhere in the middle as it was, and then put in the remaining screws. Check my throttle trigger to feel nothing is binding. I'll check the pull start. I can pull it easily, obviously, because I removed the plug and there's no compression at the moment. Now I'm going to connect the starter grip. I wrapped a piece of masking tape on the tip to make a point so I could put the rope through a little bit easier. Check for any slack. And hold the rope as to mark it with my fingers and make a knot or two. And I'll cut any extra rope, but not till I know that's all the rope that I need.